It does not matter what your person says, does, or thinks. It also doesn't matter what you say or do or think. Nobody can mess up your manifestation. Not them, not you. Hey guys, I'm Jasmine with Manifest Fast with Jasmine, but you can call me Dr. Cupcake because what I know they don't teach in school. So on that note, make sure that you watch until the end because I'm going to have some really, really good tips at the end of the video and take notes because we're going to do a masterclass on Transcending Circumstances. Okay, so I got a lot to cover here, but we're going to get through it pretty quick, actually. You can apply this to a specific person situation, any specific person situation, but you can also apply this to anything else in your world. The world is an illusion. Everything is you pushed out. And when you're operating at like a 3D level, that means that you believe in the circumstances. When you believe in circumstances, they solidify even more. But if you change the way that you view reality, change your belief systems, and change your consciousness, which I'm going to talk to you about how to do that in this video, you will literally experience a different world altogether. It is that's the best that I can say it. You will experience a different world where things move faster and respond to you faster. And you know that you create your own reality, and then you do the thing that creates your reality, and the things change. It's like the universe begins obeying you. But the first thing, well, what you need to do in order to make that happen is you literally have to believe in a thing before there is any evidence of it. It means you have to say, this is real. This is the thing. I know this is true. I know that I'm going to see this before there is any evidence of it whatsoever. When you do that, and you don't even have to do it for very long, you just have to decide to feel conviction about that. Okay. And we're going to talk about how to do that because I know that feels like it's difficult to do, but it doesn't have to be. So when you make a decision with conviction, before there's any evidence, that's what we call faith or knowing. Knowing is much better than belief or faith. Knowing is, it doesn't matter what I see, what anything. I'm going to know it. I'm going to know it now. I'm going to know it in 5 minutes. I'm going to know it tomorrow. I'm going to know it next month. I know this shit, right? When you know something, you will know it into being. So maybe you probably don't recognize it, but you are shifting. You can shift down into denser, more 3D realities that feel worse, and you can shift up into realities that are higher, that move faster, where you know that you're in a more like total control situation, and you can see your universe manifest in that way. You just got to know that it does work this way. Just because your life seems immovable right now, it doesn't mean that it is. You absolutely have to open that door to that new reality by stepping into the new reality before you have any evidence. You create your world. You're the only one who can decide. So there's like an element of radical responsibility here where you have a decision. Okay, you have a decision to be a victim and say, it's this person, it's this thing, there's nothing I can do about it. It's the rain, it's the snow, it's the this, it's the that, it's my body. But if you take radical responsibility and decide, I am going to decide to believe that the universe works in this way. I'm going to decide to apply this in my life. I'm going to decide to go in 100%. I'm going to decide to pursue this to the end of my days, meaning I'm not going to, this is not like a season. This is not like a fad. This is not like a hobby for me. This is something that I intend to do because this is how I believe reality works. And so if you do that, and you will persist and you will get results, and the hardest thing to do is like, because you're literally, okay, that which you're the eternal observer. Okay, but you, the eternal observer, the energy of all that is the God of your creation, the God of creation, you are occupying multiple states every day, maybe thousands, maybe millions. You're operating through an infinite number of avatars and ego personalities per day. You notice that through your changing moods and thoughts and perspectives, okay? So what an important thing that ends up happening is when you say, okay, I'm going to believe manifesting goes like this and that, I create my own reality, blah, blah, blah. But then you have to be able to catch when you are doing literally the opposite, when you're operating through an avatar that is literally acting and behaving and thinking and doing the opposite of what you just said that you believe. You have to raise your awareness and your consciousness enough to where you can catch that, right? You have to be dedicated and committed to this enough to where you can be like, wait, I'm doing this. Does that match what I said I believe over here? So there's this like reconciliation that needs to happen where you are making sure that you're actually being consistent. So that's just awareness. Fear. Let's talk about fear. Fear equals anything that is a negative emotion. Okay, anything that is in the side of negative emotion. Fear equals belief in the illusion. So you have to know, even though the outside, and this is like the trick. The trick is it looks really, really solidly real. It looks like immovable. It looks like you can't change it, but it's an illusion. It really, really is. And when you start thinking and feeling and operating and doing as if you know that, you start to see that that's exactly what it is. And you will have no attachment to circumstances to the point to where you're no longer having a negative reaction to the circumstances because you know it's just a magic trick. It's just an illusion. But when you are being faced with circumstances and you are feeling fear, that means that instead of being identified with your creator self, you are operating through your limited human mind ego, and you are believing in the illusion. So therefore you're feeling fear. You only feel fear or negative emotion when you are believing something that is baloney. Okay? That's the only time when you feel negative emotion. When you're believing something that is not real. That is not true. Okay? So you have to say to yourself right now, decide for yourself right now, are you really committed to truly believing in these things? Because if you are not, you will not do what it takes. You will be fooled by the illusion and you will tell yourself and feel for yourself that, oh, I can't change this and I can't change that and I can't do this and I can't do that. And if you stick with the video for a little bit, I'm going to tell you about some of my own success stories, very recent ones that I can tell you about things that I changed within myself that you're not supposed to be able to change. Okay, so I got some notes right here. I'm just reading off. So let's see. Okay, wait for the tips at the end. Let's talk about belief and identity. So this took me some time to figure out. I've been at this for a long time. Okay. I know that you haven't seen me very often in a while showing up, but I've been at this for a long time. I'm studying a lot behind the scenes. So belief and identity are essentially the same thing. Your identity is going to have a set of belief systems. It's made up of a set of belief systems. The two go together like part and parcel, like a puzzle. Okay, they go together. You can't have one without the other. Now, belief, because here is the thing about belief and working with the mind is you can say, let's say mentally speaking, you could have read every book on manifesting, law of attraction, metaphysics, existentialism, quantum physics, whatever it is. You could know all the things mentally. You could memorize them and recite them. But that does not equal integration or the ability to apply what you can recite mentally. So knowledge does not equal wisdom. Now, you do not actually know a thing until you are exemplifying it, until you are embodying it. If you cannot do the thing, you do not know the thing. So don't say, I know, if you're not doing it. If you're not doing it, then there's something that you have not embodied about what you say that you know on a level. Okay. So this is a normal occurrence for people. Don't feel bad that happens. That happens to me. It just tells us that there is something more to belief. There's something more to identity, and it must go beyond the mind. And I think part of it is definitely that you say one thing and you do another. And so you have one avatar version of yourself that can say, I know this and I believe this. But then in the next second, because you've sort of like, you have this belief that you can't control certain things in your world. So it's like you occupy a different avatar that just goes on autopilot and doesn't have the awareness to actually implement or embody what it is that you said that you know on a mental level, right? So there's a disconnect. That happens when you give away your power to the illusion in any way. And when you start raising your awareness to this and becoming the version of you who really knows that you create your own reality, knows the illusion, knows it because you're deciding to be more aware and implement, you're deciding to bust through your own ridiculous blocks and parts of you that say, I can't do this, or bleh, right? Blaming the outside. When you stop blaming the outside, your awareness will raise and you'll start to be able to catch yourself in the act and modify your behavior to align with what you say that you believe. And then you'll get better results. So, one way that you know what you actually believe is your feeling. And one way that you know what identity that you're occupying is by your feeling. Now, if you are in a place where you are believing in circumstances, then you will have the experience of not being able to move yourself vibrationally or not being able to feel different. You'll have less control over everything in your reality, including your own emotional state. That is okay if that is you. The way that you combat this is you make a strong decision that, and you write this stuff down, guys, no matter what you see, no matter what you think, no matter what not you think, you are eternal observer. You are the God of your reality, right? You are eternal consciousness, infinite creative energy. But the avatar that you're occupying, the ego that you're occupying, no matter what the ego says, if there's words happening within you, the ego is talking, not you, okay? So no matter what you hear in your head, no matter the talk, no matter the perspective, no matter the story that you hear inside your head or outside of you, no matter what you're feeling as a result of just, being with yourself or observing in your, no matter what you feel, no matter what you see inside or outside of you, you remain unaffected. It doesn't mean that you cannot feel something. It means even if you feel something, you say, that doesn't matter. I still choose to believe this no matter what. I still choose to know that I do create my own reality. That emotion is not me. That feeling is not me. That thought is not me. That story is not me. I know that these things are not me. So you're creating a distance between yourself and the avatar that you're occupying. That is your lifeline if you want to create deliberately. That distance, knowing the difference between who you are and the avatar, and not buying into the avatar. Because if you buy into thinking that that avatar, ego, human limited perspective is you, you have bought into the whole illusion of circumstances. The two are one and the same. So, in order to create your reality, you have to step back from the illusion, not be in the illusion. Okay, so I teach this in my community called Super Life. Okay, I'm teaching in Super Life. Well, I mean, I teach you guys on here, but there we do a lot more like practices to help you embody this. But I just want you to know, like, changing your identity. This is really, really important. It's your lifeline, and this is a lot of what I cover in Super Life in my community. So you know what you believe because of your feeling. When you really believe something, you'll feel it. And then when you feel it real, you won't doubt it. Your reaction and your response to your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, story, and to anything else that you see in your reality tells you what you believe. You can write that down. Now let's talk about identity. Same thing with identity, okay? Your response and your reaction to whatever it is that you are seeing or feeling or hearing inside or outside of you tells you who you are in that moment, who you're choosing to be. Now, every moment is new. So if you catch yourself in the act of being sucked in by the illusion of the avatar and circumstances, you can catch yourself in the act as the observer and say, oh, no, that's not me. I'm not. You can correct that and turn that around, reorient yourself back to eternal observer who can make choices and isn't falling for the illusion. So your feeling tells you what you believe, your feeling tells you who you are. There's a lot more on that, but essentially it's when you have a reaction to something that you've given a definition to it, you've said what it means, and that will be your reality. And when you create this distance where you know the difference between your true identity as the creator self, the eternal observer, versus the ego, it doesn't matter what the ego does. You can have the final word each time, and you'll know that no matter what the ego is doing, you're still creating. It's a really cool thing. So this is like a very high level of awareness, control over circumstances that I'm teaching you right now. Yeah, the illusion is everywhere, but it doesn't matter because you can use the illusion to your advantage. You can learn how to move and manipulate the illusion and charge it and make it do whatever you want. So, like, once you get out of victim mode of, oh my God, the illusion is more powerful than me, then you can turn it around and make it work in your favor. Now, that's fun, and that's what we're here to do. Okay, here is something that if you want to get to this level where you really have control over your circumstances, you have to, you have to get out of victim mode. Okay, so victim mode is something is like you just don't realize that you're creating the thing. Everything comes from you, and you have to learn how to change your own perspective of your reality and get rid of all the parts of you and all the versions of you that think that they're not powerful. You're doing that unconsciously. You have to learn how to stop doing that if you want control over your reality. This is not as hard as you think that it is. It's not, I promise. The thinking that it's hard, that's just an identity. That's like spouting victim stuff, right? Ignore that. Do not look to your reality or rely on it for security, safety, or resources. You are the one who gives those things to you. And if you believe that you're powerless, so when you're thinking that you need to rely on something else for stability, security, resources, you're at the same time saying, I am powerless on my own. I can't create XYZ for myself. Okay. And I know this is like a very common thing that we see in humandom, but again, that's just one version of reality, and you can choose to be aware of a different version of reality, occupy that, and it's way more fun. So, yeah, do not look to your reality for security, safety, or resources. You have to learn how to transcend the fear within you, the fear that believes in circumstances, so that you can give those things to yourself by controlling what you're believing deliberately. Okay. The closest, most important key to all instant manifestation is the ability to make a decision. Now, the ability to make a decision seems to be something that people do sporadically, okay? But it's really not. And so I've been kind of like analyzing this and breaking this down. I think it just dropped. Here we go. I've really been analyzing this and breaking this down so that, how do you teach someone to make a decision with conviction? Like that seems like something spontaneous, but there's something to this. So basically, you have to really believe in yourself enough to stop paying attention to everything that the ego is saying about who, what, when, where, why you can't do this. And you have to just know. You have to choose to apply what you have learned to the best of your ability. So You can read all the books and you can, know what to do and never actually do it. But you're not actually changing anything until you actually begin applying. And so there's a huge difference between listening to something or learning about manifestation and actual application. That's the bridge that you have to cross. Okay. So you have to decide that you can make a decision, and you begin like, that's a decision. I can make a decision, right? So, like, begin where you are and make decisions from where you are and keep making decisions in that direction. Yes, I can. 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 Every time that you hear a limiting thought, which you can only do if you practice not being asleep and inside the illusion, you have to create like this gap where you're awake and you can look at the ego and what it's saying instead of thinking that it's part of you and it's just reality, right? If you're not apart from the ego is going to be your God. And that sucks, So everything that you are able to do in reality, a decision comes first. So if you want to heal yourself, if you want to be able to apply manifesting, if you want to be able to change your feeling, feel it real, you have to make a decision about all of those things first before you have any evidence at all. Okay, so here's my super tips let me tell you my success stories and then I'll finish with the super tips. Okay. So for instance, I have not been sick in a very, very long time because I started telling myself with conviction that I don't get sick. 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 And I just don't get sick anymore. Now, it's been so long of that happening that I looked at that and I said, well, if I can just decide that I don't get sick, then I can just decide that that I don't have allergies and I'm super duper strong and I don't get hurt anymore. And so I started doing that. And I am a lot of those things, like still a work in progress, but something else happened. So I cook often and I kind of burned myself a few times. But the last time after I started being like, oh, well, I don't get hurt and I'm strong and I'm this and I'm that, I was taking something out of the oven and I touched the heating element with my finger and I got it pretty good. Like I have a scar right here. Like you see that? That's from touching a heating element too. And that was just for a second. Okay. And so I did like about the same thing on my finger and it was visibly burned. You could see, like, I thought it was going to be bad. I was like, oh my God. And then, I had a thought and I was like, oh, it'll be nothing. Like I corrected the thought. I was like, whatever, it'll be nothing. Like I wasn't worried about it, but I was like, whatever, I don't even care. But my finger smelled like burnt flesh, like all day. Like it really seemed to be something that could definitely spring into a problem. But by the end of the day, the burn was gone. I did not have any broken skin. I never had a blister and nothing ever came of it. It never even hurt. Like it might have hurt for like a couple of seconds here and there, like kind of early on or an hour later, whatever. And I just kind of ignored it. I was like, because you're supposed to like ignore what's happening and just know what you prefer to know in order to manifest it, right? So I did that. And I wasn't trying. I just don't really pay much attention to negative things if I can help it, so I was kind of doing that. But like I burned my freaking finger. It smelled like burnt flesh all day. It looked like it was a problem. And I didn't even get a blister and nothing ever came of it at all. So, and I've had like other things happen like that. Okay, here's another thing. Time. Oh my gosh. So have you ever heard the idea of like that time is malleable and bendable? So I used to not have a lot of time. Like, oh my God, I have no time. I don't have enough time. And I used to get up at 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock to like work. And I would work all day. And I never had time. I would always feel like I never had time. Well, that is just a symptom of lack. Time is a resource that can bend and mold. And I never really knew this to the extent that I know it today. But everybody has experienced the thing of like, oh, when you're really, really enjoying yourself, time flies. And when you're super bored, time goes forever. So lately, I've kind of made my life in such a way that I like really, really am prioritizing alignment. And I do things that I really like to do, and I don't worry about what I have to do, need to do. Ugh. I don't have that. I did I started walking like 20K steps a day. That is a lot of time. And I don't worry about the time. I love it. I engage with it. I'm just following my joy. I'm not worried about it. So recently, maybe like a week or two ago, I was like riding my bike or something, and I saw a thought in my mind, which you'll see thoughts like this that give you the opportunity to change your reality when you raise your awareness and start doing this. Okay, it'll happen naturally when you do the things I teach you to do. So I heard a thought, and I think it said something about like not having time, or I was like remembering when I used to not have time, and I put it together in my head. I was like, that lack of time is just lack. And I'm abundant. I have plenty of time. I have all the time. I have time for everything that I want to do. And I was like really happy and appreciative that I have time for everything that I want. And I swear that, like, remember in the beginning of the video, I told you that you will literally shift into a completely different universe that functions differently. I swear that after that, I started noticing that time completely warped. And all of a sudden, like I have so much time for everything that I want to do. The things that I do that I'm enjoying doing, like watching movies or like just like entertaining myself, just having fun, just doing nothing important, just aligning and having fun. Like, I feel like, oh my gosh, like I had so much time to do that. Like, I feel like I have so much time for everything that I want to do. It feels like a completely different world. Like, time is passing by so much differently. Like, I have more time when I want to have it. It's amazing. And I love it. So anyway, those are my success stories. I'm going to give you my super tips. This is really, really, really the stuff of, how do you transcend circumstances? Okay, well, these are the tricks. If I could put it in words, like this is it. So if you want to collapse time, take time out of the equation. You are not becoming something. There is no time. There's no, you just got to understand that every reality exists right now, and you do not grow and become into something. You're not waiting to become something. You are right now. There is a reality where the version of you that you want to be already exists. You are already the complete, finished, pristine end product that you could ever hope or wish to be right now. And you can literally hop into that reality perspective right now. And after years and years and years of like ripping my hair out to figure out how the hell to collapse time and make things happen better and faster, I got to tell you right now that nothing works better than this, than when you basically, Neville Goddard, begin at the end and just go directly to this is what I want to be and feel that real, think about that, determine, like decide to be that, embody that. That is what works. Trying to become something, thinking you have to do something before you become something, that does not work. What works is you are not becoming the version of myself that I want to be, the reality that I want to be, everything that I want exists right now. And I can just decide to go to that reality, embodied reality right now. And that's what I teach in Super Life. So you're not becoming, decide you are this now. How do you do that? Okay, keep watching, okay? You, in order to make sure that you actually do become that person, like that you keep that going, and solidify that version of yourself and that reality that you are wanting to manifest and collapse time into, You decide, I am this now. Like I said, I don't get sick. I don't get sick, or I don't have allergies, or I don't get hurt, or whatever, or I don't have pain, right? Even if I'm having pain, I don't have pain. I don't hurt. My body is perfect. My body is strong. My body is like the whatever. You're saying it and doing it and knowing it, even if you're being faced with it right now. That part is really important. That's called faith. That's what turns the key and makes it work. You have to be able to know it and say it and determine it, even though the thing is in your face. That's the test. Now, as you move forward in your life, remake and reinforce that decision as each thought, emotion, and circumstance comes up. So it doesn't matter, like your thought is gonna, you're gonna catch yourself in the act of thinking something that does not align with the new you that you're choosing to be. Correct it. Reorient yourself and correct it and realign yourself. And no matter what comes up, you have a reaction or whatever, align everything to what you have said that you are. Okay? Now, there's more. This is how you fully align into that one chosen identity and shift timelines quickly. This is how you align in a moment, in a day, in 3 days, whatever. I don't care if it takes 2 weeks. That's a small price to pay. And the better that you get at it, the shorter that it takes. Okay. So this says, how does that look? When the old appears, even if it's pain, like I said, even if it doesn't feel good, no matter what it is, you say and know, that's old. That's old, XYZ, whatever. It's like if someone's sent you a check in the mail, or if someone's going to buy you a car and you know that they are going to buy you a car, or if you're going to go to the grocery store, or if you're going to get ice cream, you're not there now. You're going to go to school in the morning, work in the morning, whatever. You're not there now, but you know that you're going to do it. You know that you're about to pick up your kid from daycare. You know that you're going to go to the grocery store. You know you're getting that car. You know that you're getting vacation, whatever it is. Just because it's not happening right now, it doesn't mean that you don't know and believe it to be real. It doesn't mean that you doubt it. So that is what makes it real, my dear. Okay. Like I said, this is really important. You can spend years learning about the law, and which I did, but nothing will change until you embody what you have learned. Embodiment is the only thing that will actually create the changes in your life and the manifestations and the miracles and the timeline shifts and the quantum leaps that you want. Embodiment is the only thing. Learning it up here, good for nothing. It's only good for something. It's only going to do what you want if you embody it and do it. So how do you do that? Okay. Practices. Many people say, I've been hearing a lot of people say, like recently, like, I don't do practices. You don't need to do practices. You just need to live your life, blah, blah. Like, nobody needs to do practices. Okay, look. Everything is a practice or a technique until you adopt it into your psyche and your habit of being and your identity to where you do it completely naturally. And it's no longer a process or a technique. It is the way that you naturally function. You reinforce those techniques that work for you automatically and naturally without you having to, I gotta do my affirmations. And if you don't like doing your techniques, it's not going to work. So you do have to implement and engage in practices that get you to embody whatever it is that you are trying to do. So however you need to embody the wish fulfilled, however you need to make that decision and move forward and behave in the way like you need, whatever gets you to do it, practice that. Practice, practice, practice is the only way to embody it. Practice until and in a way that feels good and natural for you. That is when you won't have to be practicing and doing techniques anymore. It will just be something that you do naturally. And that is when your manifestations are going to come to you automatically. Just like all by themselves, your reality is going to be all morphed and malleable and easy to share. You're going to be like, oh my God, look at this. Look at this. Look at this manifestation over here. Look at this. I won the lottery. Look at this. My man's going to say this. Oh, look, there he goes. He's going to take me out for ice cream. Oh, look, there he goes. Oh, look, I got flowers. Yeah, I'm the luckiest girl. literally. So this is what I teach you to do in Super Life, okay? I teach you basically these practices that you can do that will help you shift your identity, help you become aware and create that space between you and your ego and all the stuff. Okay, so today, 6 p.m. EST, I'm beginning the new avatar. I'm going to introduce a new avatar to you guys, and this one is called Geisha Warrior. And that is not what it sounds like, okay? Geisha Warrior, she knows that there is no opposition, and she knows and implements and embodies with such wisdom that it's not luck, but you could call her the luckiest girl because when you look at her, she looks like the luckiest girl. So this is the vibe that we're going for. And what I really, really like about Geisha Warrior is she is fucking perfect, high level achiever, and she makes it look so easy. She loves it. It is easy for her. And she can do things, like I said, like she can do things at a very, very high level of precision. That's why I'm calling it Geisha Warrior. She obliterates the opposition. If you want to do that in your life and change your circumstances, that link is going to be below to join Super Life. I'm starting at 6 p.m. tonight to teach you guys all about it. I love you, and I will see you in the next video.